Tonight you will do something no human before 300 years ago ever did. You will sleep in one solid block, from dark until dawn, and call it normal. It isn't. It never was. For almost the entire span of human existence, the night your ancestors lived was nothing like the night you know. And the thing they did in the middle of it has been so completely erased that you have probably never heard it named. Start with what the night actually was. Not a gap in the day. Not the empty hours between one shift and the next. For hundreds of thousands of years, the dark was a place you entered, and it was long. In deep winter, the sun could be gone for 14 hours, 15, 16. No screens, no streetlights, no switch on the wall. When the sun set, the world did not pause. It transformed. And your ancestors had to fill those hours somehow. For a long time, historians assumed they simply slept through them. Lay down at dark, rose at light, one unbroken night. It seemed obvious. Then a historian named Roger Ekirch spent years buried in old documents, and he found something that quietly rewrote the story of human sleep. Ekirch was not looking for it. He was reading diaries, court records, medical books, poems, prayers, letters, anything written across centuries of English and European life. And scattered through all of them, casually, without explanation, were two strange phrases. People wrote about their first sleep, and they wrote about their second sleep. Once he saw it, he could not stop seeing it. A woman in a court record who committed an act after her first sleep, a prayer written to be said between the two sleeps, a doctor advising the best position for the first sleep and a different one for the second. He gathered more than 500 of these references, and slowly a picture assembled itself of a night your body may still remember better than you do. Your ancestors did not sleep in one block. They slept in two. They would go down not long after dark, into a deep first sleep, and stay there for 3 or 4 hours. Then, around midnight, without an alarm, without a reason, they would simply wake. And they would stay awake, calmly, for an hour, sometimes 2. This was not insomnia. It was not a problem. It was a room in the middle of the night that every human being walked into as a matter of course. They had a name for it. In some places, they called it the watch. The waking time between the two sleeps. And what did they do in that hour? Everything. They stoked the fire. They talked quietly, in the dark. Couples, rested from the first sleep, reached for each other. And physicians of the age genuinely recommended it as the best time to conceive. Some people rose and moved about the house, tended animals, checked on children. Some prayed. There were manuals printed specifically, with prayers designed for the watch. And many, Ekirch found, simply lay still in the dark and let their minds drift through whatever the first sleep had stirred up. They thought about their dreams. They turned the day over. They existed, awake and unhurried, in a private hour the modern world has almost entirely deleted. Now, a historian finding old words is one thing. But is any of this written into the body? Could your own biology still hold the shape of a night you have never lived? In the early 1990s, a sleep researcher at the National Institute of Mental Health named Thomas Wehr decided to find out. His experiment was elegant. He took a group of ordinary modern people, the kind who sleep in one block and think nothing of it, and he took away their artificial light. Not their beds, not their comfort. Just the light. For a month, every night, he gave them 14 hours of darkness, roughly what a human in deep winter would have known for most of history. At first, they slept the way you do. One long block, catching up on the exhaustion of modern life. But after a few weeks, something remarkable happened. Their sleep broke in two. On its own. No one told them to do it. Their bodies, given a long enough night, drifted back into the ancient pattern. A first sleep of several hours. Then a stretch of quiet wakefulness in the middle. Then a second sleep until morning. And the wakeful stretch was the strangest part of all. Weir measured their hormones during it, and he found something that does not happen at any other time. Their bodies were flooded with prolactin, a hormone linked to deep calm, the kind of still, dreamy contentment you feel in the moments after waking but before rising. His subjects did not describe the middle of the night waking as distress. They described it as peaceful, meditative, a state of restful presence that most modern people have simply never felt because we have engineered the darkness out of our lives and slammed the two sleeps into one. Think about what that means. The hour your ancestors spent in the watch may have been one of the most reliably calm states a human mind ever entered. A daily hour of quiet wakefulness, with no task, no light, no pressure to be anywhere, chemically settled, mentally loose, suspended between two deep sleeps, and you have never had it. So where did it go? It died with the arrival of bright, cheap, artificial light. As lamps improved and streets lit up and the evening became a place to do things, the night compressed. Bedtimes crept later. The long dark shrank. The gap in the middle had nowhere left to open. And within a few generations, the two sleeps folded into one. The watch vanished, and people forgot it had ever existed. By the time the 20th century arrived, waking in the middle of the night had been rebranded as a disorder, a symptom, a thing to be medicated away. Here is the quiet tragedy in that. Ekirch believes that a huge amount of modern nighttime anxiety, the panic of lying awake at 3 in the morning convinced something is wrong, is actually your body doing exactly what it was built to do. You wake. You expect to fall straight back. You don't. And instead of resting in the watch the way your ancestors did, you fill it with dread. You check the clock. You calculate the hours of sleep you are losing. You turn a peaceful, ancient state into a nightly emergency. Your body remembers the two sleeps. Your culture forgot them. And in the gap between those two facts, millions of people lie awake every night, feeling broken, when they are only feeling old. There is one more thing your ancestors did in the dark, and it may be the most important of all. Before the watch, before the first sleep, there was the fire. An anthropologist named Polly Wiessner spent years living among the Jew Howansi people of the Kalahari, one of the last groups on Earth still living something close to the ancient rhythm. And she noticed that their conversations changed completely after dark. In the daylight, people talked about practical things, complaints, plans, who did what, gossip and logistics. But at night, in the firelight, the talk transformed. It became stories, myths, the doings of ancestors, journeys to distant places, songs. The imagination came out only when the sun went down. Wiessner's conclusion was startling. Firelight did not just extend the day. It opened a different kind of human mind. The night was when we told each other who we were, where we came from, what the world meant. The night was where culture itself was born. In the long, dark hours you now spend staring at a lit rectangle until your eyes give out. So look at your own night. The bright ceiling, light on until the last second. The phone glowing inches from your face. The single hard block of sleep you demand of yourself, and the panic when it breaks. You have taken the richest, strangest, most restful part of the human night and paved straight over it. Tonight you will do something no human before 300 years ago ever did. And somewhere around midnight, if you wake in the dark and feel that old, quiet pull to simply lie there, unafraid, remember, you are not broken. You are just standing at the door of a room your ancestors knew by heart.